Moms and dads, I'm going live. What's up, everyone? This is Coach D, the Parents Fitness Coach, and tonight we have another great show for you. Welcome, welcome. It is April's 1st, April Fool's Day for those who participated. I did get a couple people on the post I did a couple hours ago about parents. It is not your fault if your kids start developing your bad habits, right? If they start developing those habits as far as eating like you eat, as far as being lazy like you're being lazy, eating their emotions, being bored, snack, all those things right there are things that you could be doing right now and your kids could be influencing. So I had to play the practical joke and say that you were not there, but it's not. It's your fault. It really is. That was just an April Fool's joke. So today we have a great guest, and his name is Jeremy Veras, or AKA Jay Vicious. He is a dad. He is a fitness business consultant, and he is going to be bringing some knowledge as we talk about dads, us dads setting the standard. So moms, you are free to watch. Don't go write a whole bunch of notes and take it to your husband or anything else like that. Don't take that approach. But you can see how dad set the standard. So I'm going to bring him on and we're going to have a great show. This is Moms and Dads. I'm going live. And today's show is Dad Setting the Example. Dad Setting the Example. And we have Jay Vicious himself on the show. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure indeed.
Man, I'm glad to have you, man. I love positive energy people, man, and you're one of those people where that energy is just contagious. You're giving it off, and that, for me, that you only can get that from Jesus. Like that's it. You're one of those people that, like, I knew had a relationship with Jesus just because that supercharge that you give off can only come from Jesus, man.
You're exactly right, man. And you know what? That's when it's called at that point. And it's no longer just a happiness. It's now converted into a perpetual happiness and peace, and that's summed up in the word joy. So
amen. Well, today's show is all about us dads, man, and us setting the standards for our household. One, biblically, look, we both there with Jesus, but then also with health and fitness. So I've introduced you. Tell everyone about you. Tell them your story. First of all, how'd you get into fitness yourself?
Well, so I've been in fitness since almost the inception of it. No, I'm kidding. But I've literally, my first job was at World's Gym in Florida. So I don't know if many people even know what World's Gym is, because I don't even know if there are any that exist anymore. But my first job was cleaning machines. I wasn't even allowed to work, actually. I was so young. My aunt ended up getting me a job there, and I became a janitor slash cleaning weights. Yeah. And, you know, I ran into people like Ronnie Coleman and Dexter Jackson and things of that manner. And, you know, you're sitting there sweeping. You're 16 years old. You don't really know much about life at all. And then, you know, you see these guys just pumping iron and bending these Olympic bars with the amount of weight that they're pushing. And you're like, wow, that's impressive. I want to do that one day. And ever since then, man, you know, I went on and got my personal training license when I was eligible to. I got my license in massage therapy, so I kind of incorporated that and had my own little studio at some point. You know, I've worked with professional athletes doing as a stretch therapist. I work with the Miami Dolphins as their stretch therapist. So I've been around, and now I'm in the corporate realm, and I'm working for Orange Theory Fitness as an area director for them. But you know, it went on, man, and God's been blessing me throughout the entire journey. I mean, I can say at 32 years old, how many people can say that they're an area director? And a lot of that came from, God's grace, man, His Amen. Grace and His mercy and upon my life, because I definitely didn't deserve it, you know, but that's what grace is. Grace is getting things that you don't deserve. So,
amen. But also, man, you've had to do the work. And I mean, like, faith without works is dead. So I definitely I give honor to God because He's the one that opens all these doors and closes the doors that we don't need to go through. But at the
Yep.
same time, what up, Josh? At the same time,
Hey,
the
Alina.
other aspect of that is we have to do the work. When God
Yep.
says go, when God told Abraham go east, he had to go east. He still had to take those steps and go. So, man, I applaud you. Yeah, especially at 32 years old to be. I know how big of that deal. My first job, fitness job, was actually selling memberships at 24-hour Fitness.
Yep.
And again, my friends worked there, so I just got a job there, and that opened me up to fitness to fall in love as well. So
Yep.
it's so funny how just random, get a job turns into like a lifelong thing, man. That's good. So tell us about your family, wife, kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have two young daughters, married to a beautiful wife for 8 years now. And my daughters are 5 and 3, so they're both in their best years, best and challenging years, I will say. And yeah, man, I've been married for 8 years. My wife has also been a competitor, so she was an NPC bikini competitor as well. So that's kind of where we met. We actually met at 24-hour Fitness, man. So it's coming full circle, bro. Yeah, I see that.
Fitness is bringing health. Fitness is bringing love. This man got 8 years in, two beautiful children. See, fitness is the answer.
That's it, man. Hey, couples who live together stay together. So,
amen.
I mean, it's a given, right? It's like if you're willing to pump iron with each other, then it's just gonna keep sharpening, and iron keeps sharpening iron, and you keep lifting the iron.
Amen.
It comes full circle, man.
You know what's funny? The couples that go through my program, actually, they say there's a bond that builds, because I think you don't get used to cheering for your spouse like that. Of course, you wish the best for them, but it's different when you're both doing the workout. It's like, babe, come on, do one more. And I mean, even with my wife, there's days I feel like quitting. I don't feel like doing that 8th, 9th, 10th rep. And my wife's like, you got this. And you're like, that's just words, push. So I know.
But man, I can't let her down now. I gotta. I can't let her know that she married a Saul. She married a Paul. Like.
My wife's strong on legs too. So my wife can lift about as much as me on legs. My wife is like her. She has like Wonder Woman calves.
Like man, so,
so she
put in work.
To put my pride will step up if she tries to lift, squat or do something more than me. I'm like, wait, hold up.
Yep. Until you get hurt.
I didn't know about your wife. So you guys really have big fitness running through your veins. So how do you
100%.
guys at home set the example for your kids? What are some of the simple things that you do?
Well, for myself, I mean, they see me working out every single day. My equipment is all over the place. My wife hates it. She's like, don't you dare put those dumbbells in the living room again. I'm like, but when I'm watching TV, I want to do my shoulder raises. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, she's always watching. She's cleaning up after me because I leave like the push-up thing. What do you call that thing? The twist when you push up?
Perfect push-ups.
The perfect push-up.
Yeah,
I got that laying around, and my wife's always coming behind me trying to like clean up everything. But I leave it out because it's just easier for me. I'm like, man, I can knock out a good 100 reps. Like I'll grab the dumbbells, a little 10-pound weight, and I'll just knock out 100 lateral raises. And then my wife, she goes to the gym every single day, so she takes my children to the gym. They have a little child care. That was huge for us, for them to have child care, so they're exposed to that. And they're like, are we going to the gym today? And they love it because the gym has like a playground, it has kids, so we have a good routine. And quite honestly, like that's kind of like our saving grace, man. It's like we get to do that. We get to sit in the sauna, relax a little bit, read the scriptures, where I'm always asking people like, hey, how do you feel about Jesus? Things like that. So, we're always sparking conversation, but it's been we've met some awesome people at the gym. I mean, it's amazing, man, but them seeing it in our daily routine and absolutely needing it, like, that's been a big thing for them. And it's funny because they'll try to squat themselves, or they'll grab a dumbbell, and now I catch my little 3-year-old coming around the corner like flexing on me, like I'm like, like she's just like, look, Poppy, and I'm like, all right, so it's a great thing to see. They're eating healthy because of the options that we have available in the house. We don't go crazy with processed foods or anything like that. So that stuff, you won't find it in my house. They see me, drinking a lot of shakes. You name it, man. We're all out, right? We're sold out to the fit lifestyle, and it's who we are. We feel good. It's how God intended us to be and how He intended us to treat our temple. So that's, and like Paul says, man, there's not many things that Apostle Paul will say are good, but he says that physical fitness is good.
What?
Physical fitness is good, but spiritual fitness is even better. So, and that's, and if you look back in the Old Testament, man, these guys were warriors, bro. Like they were warriors, dude. They had their sword in one hand, a spear in another. Like they were ready. Even Christ, bro, when he told the disciples to go out, he said, sell your bags. If you ain't got a sword, sell your bag and go buy one. You know what I mean? So it's just been a phenomenal thing. My wife's involved. She goes to Orange Theory when she can. She loves to work out. Otherwise, she goes to the gym. But we're constantly working out. We're constantly, and that's how I play with my kids. I'll have them jump on my back and I'll do push-ups. They absolutely love it. I'll throw them in the air and I'll do my squat, right? Like throw them in the air as they come down. I'm squatting, and I'm like, everything that we're doing is we're incorporating fitness some way or another. So, it's just been a lifestyle of ours, man.
No, and that's awesome. And again, you and your wife. My wife was an athlete in high school, but she wasn't. So when we both got overweight and we started losing weight, for me, it took me about like 3 weeks to get like that get back on the bike riding.
Yep.
It took her like a month or two because the one thing, and
so Britain,
your wife competed a lot of other trainers. I started asking a lot of trainers, male and females, your spouse doesn't listen to you when you're the trainer. They do not listen to you at all. So my wife would come to me like, train me, and then it'd be a week. And then she goes, well, I read right here this other person's doing this program. So I was like, go do that program. And then
your pride, you're like, well, wait a second.
Well, at first it was pride, and then it was just like, okay, I don't want to deal with this. Like I was like, yo, I rather like go buy that other program. Here's the money. Like I don't even. You do those programs, and they're very restrictive. And the one thing I teach my clients is food freedom. Like you get to eat all your food. Like you said, we're not chowing down processed foods all the time, but every once in a while you can have that. That should be a part of your 80% should be fruits, vegetables, home cooked foods. But when she realized, hey, I could have at the time, I wasn't lactose intolerant, so I could have pizza still and still lose weight. And she saw my results and saw that I was feeling good and everything like that. And then she couldn't eat anything, but she wasn't seeing results following these other plans. Then she was all like, okay, I'll listen. And then she started dropping weight and listening. So it's very, very hard for spouses, but it's great for you guys because I know you guys probably have different beliefs, especially with her being a competitor. I know you guys might have some different beliefs, but the both of you guys approach fitness in your own way. It's better. How about the food? You did mention food earlier with your kids, because I know with my kids, because we kind of were backwards, we weren't living the healthy lifestyle, then switched. Our kids felt punished at first. Do your kids ever feel like, hey, I want something else, or I want some candy, or they ever feel like they're missing out?
No, not necessarily. Thank God that, my children enjoy healthy food. So, we call it, like, for example, broccoli is a tree, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because even when we go to like a petting zoo or whatnot, like we show them the animals eat the, green things. And so they kind of associate eating those greens with like almost like, hey, if the animals can do it, I could do it too. And it's like, hey, remember when you saw, the elephant, how big they are and how strong they are, and look what they eat, And so I'm always finding opportunities to kind of plant those seeds with them. It's a livelihood, right? So, and I understand, like, I gotta plant those seeds now, or I gotta plant those seeds whenever the opportunity comes along. So that way, when they are, in front of broccoli, green beans, and things of that manner, that they're willing to eat them. Of course, sometimes they're like, I don't want that, and I don't necessarily don't give them junk food because we do, right? Like we'll give, we'll get like Whataburger or whatnot, and they'll have some fries or something, or we'll make fries at the house. But in moderation, right? Like
Correct.
it's not the go-to. It's more like, hey, we've had a long day, we've done, XYZ, here you go,
It's Friday.
Exactly. It's Friday, you can have some fries on Friday. So yeah, and I see somebody here in the comments, Elena, hey Elena, what's up? And then Britton, he's a very good friend of mine. That's my brother right there, and he's a chef. So if anybody wants to reach out to him,
Hey, buddy.
he can help you out. He does meal planning. He does all that good stuff. He's from Chicago. Elena, she's asking, how do we feel about butter? Ooh.
So
Ooh.
I honestly, like, I cook with butter, not everything, depending on what it is. I use olive oil or butter.
Okay.
Cooking.
Yep.
I just limit it. Like, again, track your calories, count your calories.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize when you're not measuring, you don't realize how much you throw in there compared to, because the butter's for taste, right?
Yeah.
We're using butter for taste. Well, if you look at it, like 1 tablespoon's a serving. If you use 1 tablespoon, it literally, you still get the buttery taste. Like, so if this is all for taste, let's not use too much. Let's just use enough, and then track those calories when you're cooking. No, but like, I have no problem with butter. I don't want you to take away any food at all. I don't teach my clients that. We just learn 80-20. Some things are in the 80% category, some things are in the 20% category. But I can tell you right now, I usually cook most of my food with butter or olive oil.
Yep. And I think it's important to have a healthy relationship with food, right? Like, it's not this kind of strict diet, right? I think, to your point, counting calories or just understanding the amounts of food that you should be intaking. I think that's important, right? Like, and it's a lifestyle, right? So if you want to put some butter in your cooking, put some butter in your cooking. Like, just do it. You just got to understand exactly what it is that you are doing, right? That way, and if you're okay, if you're weighing the pros and cons and so on and so forth, then do it, right? Like, but at the end of the day, it's also in moderation, right? We're not sitting there eating 2 plates of something, right? This Russian needs her butter. Absolutely. Trust me. Listen, I'm Caribbean, so from the Dominican Republic, and we put butter and garlic on everything. So, I get that. But yeah, absolutely. Eat in moderation, count your calories. You can still be in a deficit, still eating some of those foods, right? So you can actually be happy. It all depends on your goals. I think a lot of people just want this quick fix, and they want to see results in like 3-6 months. It's a lifestyle. It's taken me almost a decade to really be happy with kind of my balance that I have in my life going, where I'm eating kind of what I want, and I do have healthy meals. I have my nuts, seeds, veggies, and things of that manner. But then I also don't deprive myself of the things that I do want to eat. I just understand I can't, and be a glutton about it, right? So, I think it's important to have that relationship with food, but it took me all that time to do that, because I would actually get almost, I want to retaliate almost when I had to go on strict diets.
Yep.
And then I come out 12 weeks later, and I'm ravenous. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna now eat whatever I want, because I was restricted for so many weeks. And that's not healthy, right? Like, nobody wants to associate food in that manner. So I think it's important to really understand that relationship that you have with food, and kind of just take it from there, right? And just like any other relationship, you have to nourish it. You have to nourish it. You got to understand it and things of that manner. But that's kind of what I would suggest when it comes down to food.
No, and that's hey Cornelius, and that's hey Cager. The big thing there too is, and I just say this is all mental. Like, all of this working out, everything starts mental. Everything starts mental, right? Your mindset towards it. You could hate Brussels sprouts. If I said you can't have Brussels sprouts, you're gonna be thinking about Brussels sprouts for the next week. How can I get me some Brussels sprouts? How can I get me some Brussels sprouts? Like, where can I get? It's not fair that they told me I can't have Brussels sprouts. I want to eat Brussels sprouts. Like, that's the psychology of our mind. So every time you say I can't have cookies, every time you say I can't have cake, you are fighting that you're fighting, and then you finally explode. And what happens is the whole week you ate healthy, and then Saturday you exploded on cookies, cake, and everything
Yep.
like that. Ruined all your week's progress as far as eatings and your deficit. And now so it's better to say, hey, I'm gonna have cookies on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in my calorie count, than to say I'm gonna not eat all this stuff I like and then try to contain yourself, because you can't. We want what we want, but again, learning how to eat it is important. So that is great. Definitely great advice there. So let's talk about this. What does fitness mean to you as far as a dad, as far as like principles, as far as discipline? Like how does that help you as a dad every single day?
Listen, man. Apart from Jesus, that's my priority, man. I have to have that in my life, just because, one, I'm an overthinker, right? So if I sit idly, I'm just gonna think, right? Like, it's just natural. Like, I'll recycle my task, I'll recycle my obligations, I'll recycle, everything over and over and over. So, really, fitness is my outlet, right? It's my escape, if you will, from the real world for that hour that I get. And it's almost like, I've never been great at art, but fitness has allowed me to be artistic in a manner that I get to sculpt the body that I want, right? And I've
And you all
never.
have that power too. Just commercial.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought I got the short end of the stick. I'm like, I can't draw, I can't sing, I can't play instruments. I'm like, God, what'd you create me for? Like, but and the fact that I'm able to shape my body and sculpt it the way I want to, strategically, right, through the right foods that I'm eating, the movements that I'm doing, the weight that I'm lifting, like, all those things play a part. And it's almost, fitness has done so much for me in my life. It's almost, I can't even put to words the importance that it has in my life. I mean, it's gotten me through depressions. It's gotten me through, when I was right, when God had me fired up, man, the first place I went to go tell people about Jesus was the gym.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I went, like, that was the breeding ground. So it's been in every stage of my life and every phase of my life. And it's played an important role in every single one of them. And when I don't get to do it, man, I'm just not myself, and I get that there's biological responses that happen that can kind of testify as to why you feel good and things of that manner, but it really is something that I feel like I'm doing for myself. Like, I almost,
Self-care.
it's almost like I'm treating myself, when I get to do fitness. And that's important to say. I get to do fitness. Not that I have to do fitness, but that I get to do fitness. And that's where I've evolved to, man. I've evolved to the point where I now get to say, I get to do fitness. Whereas before, it was almost like I had to, right? Because I had to meet a certain, sociological norm, or, for appearance or whatever it is, right? For aesthetic purposes. But now it's like, I enjoy it. And it doesn't have to be this crazy workout every single time.
Yep.
Now, sometimes I go to the gym, I'll do one full set of a superset or a circuit, training set. I'm done. I'm like, all right, I feel good. And I walk away still feeling good, right? Whereas before, I'm like, if I weren't in the gym for an hour and a half, I didn't feel accomplished, right? And it's just a different relationship that I have now with lifting weights. And sometimes I even use it to beat up on myself, right? Like, if I eat poorly, I'm like, oh yeah, Jeremy, you want to eat like that? Well, this is what you got to do. There's so many different reasons why. I mean, I've built community, I've built family, I've met the love of my life. I have a family with her now. Like, everything stemmed from fitness. It's crazy, man. It's like what I was called to do,
Amen. Amen. I love that. Elena just said, my motivation and my progress inspired my 18-year-old son to join me. Yeah. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's what we've been talking about all week on this week's theme, with setting the example, being the hero for your kids, for the Parents Fitness Coach. And we literally, that is exactly what we want to start with. Like, hey, you were there and your kids saw something. The one thing I noticed with my kids, they don't want to do, anytime we do something, they want to do it, right? we'll break out a new board game. All of a sudden, they're all starting. It'll be just us adults, and all of them are searching
Yeah.
us, wanting to play
Yeah.
that board game, right?
Yeah.
Our kids want to imitate us. So,
Yep.
again, as a parent, it's our obligation to let them imitate the positive things in life, not the negative things in life. So, if we have poor health habits, if we have poor exercise habits, all this stuff, it really, they learn that. And even if they're kids now, they want to go outside and run. When they become adults, your model and foundation from when they were kids and how you treated your health and your fitness is what they're going to follow. Because mom didn't care, dad didn't care. They went to work. They were great at work. They were successful at work, but they came home and they were tired and they were exhausted. That's how I'm supposed to be. Yep. And you don't know with your kids which one you get. There's that old story that there's two sons and the father was an alcoholic. The first son became the alcoholic, and he said, why? Because my father was an alcoholic. The second son was a successful doctor, and they said, why don't you drink? He goes, because my father was an alcoholic. It's all about perspective. The problem is you don't get to choose the perspective your kids take on that. They might be health nuts because of your example, or they might follow your example. So that's the totally doing. Dadasaurus, what's up, man? So that's really big. I love that, man. I love that you said it. I noticed my whole life's in line with discipline too, especially when I was in the corporate world. My punctuality, my being ready for work was all based on me having my gym bag ready, having my after work, having my shoes ready, having my towel ready. So I definitely see how fitness keeps you disciplined, keeps you focused. So definitely thank you for sharing that. So, and
I always say, man, it's not about the weight that you're carrying. It's how you carry it that matters, right? And I think it's important also that when you're speaking about fitness to your children, you got to do it with grace and love, right? And I think that's crucial, because I've seen so many parents just kind of try to almost force their kids to kind of follow them, and then they have a horrible relationship with fitness, right? So I think it's important to understand where your child's at, meet them where they're at, right? And gamify fitness for them. That's why whenever I come home, I'm like, all right, who wants to do some push-ups on Bobby's back? Like, I'm always incorporating fitness with even our playing time, so they can understand there's a healthy relationship that exists between you and fitness, and them and fitness, and how it keeps your family intertwined.
Amen. And loving that. And that's something for me. I have 8 kids, 7 girls. So
ooh, boy,
you got 2 girls too. So as fathers, and as when you're in the fitness, it's very, very hard. It's a delicate, because girls especially are more easy to go into the my body's not right and body shaming themselves, and it's more pressure on women and young ladies to have the perfect body, right? So for me, while I tried to lead by example, it was very important to me that I didn't start pushing. It was like, don't say anything. Like, if I see you doing something crazy, like you eating too many junk food, or I see you going for the second cupcake, I'm gonna say something. But at the same time, like, I didn't want to push. And then I had 2 kids that when they felt, they came to me like, can we work out with you? We want to change some things about us. And that was just by living the example. So especially with girls, I think it's very important that we're not pushy. Again, we don't turn this into a thing where they get a negative attitude when it comes to fitness. So that's very, very big, man. That was a good point. So before you leave, I want everyone to know your top 3 fitness health habits that you give everyone, that you just swear by. Or if you have 4 or 5, give them to me. But I just want you to give what you swear by, because you really made fitness a part of your life. You and your wife did it before kids, before marriage, have intertwined it with your kids. You're living that perfect example and balance of what health should be. So tell us, what are some of the principles you just live by to help keep fitness a part of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's up, Roxy? What's going on, man? Good to see you. So the 3 things that I would say I absolutely live by. The number 1, work out your mind. Work out your mind, right? It's all about your mindset, and I don't think we speak about that enough, especially as men, especially as fathers. we don't think about, you know, our mindset enough. And I think that's extremely important, because if that's not healthy, nothing else will be, you know. So work out your mind. The next thing will be is work out your heart.
Come on now.
You know, so a lot of times we always work on the aesthetics and the things that people can see, or the beach muscles, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, work out your heart. That's extremely important, because that's the only thing that continues working nonstop your entire life. So when you really think about that, it's like that should be the strongest part, and it's what feeds your entire body. It's nutrients. That's what helps you heal. That's what helps you. So working on your heart is extremely important. That's my number 2. And then number 3, lift some heavy weight.
All right.
So lift some heavy weight. Keep challenging yourself. You know, continue having that progression, and don't get stuck. You know, keep challenging yourself with heavier weight, different movements, different types of workout. You know, have fun with it. You know, have fun with your workouts. Because that's key, and the only way you're gonna have fun, man, is if you continue changing it up and don't get complacent. And you know, it's extremely important. You know, just continue lifting heavy, and you'll see results. That progressive overload is a thing. So
Man, no, look, keeping it simple. Those are 3 simple things. As you guys know, I always teach morning routine, mind, body, and spirit in the morning to get it right. Definitely taking care of all those things. So that's a very, very important. I love that, man. So again, I want to thank you, sir, for being on the show. Where can people find you?
well, you can find me on Instagram, you know, Jeremy Jose Veras, aka Jay Vicious. You can find me on Clubhouse, same name, same face. You can find me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to help. Just click the follow button, shoot me a DM. You know, I'll give you all the tips and tricks I can. I've been in the industry for about 16 years now, so almost 2 decades. But yeah, let me know. I'll be happy to help any way I can. Fathers, hit me up. You know, I think we need to connect more. I think you know, we do ourselves a disservice when we try to be a lone wolf. And there's some incredible things that we can do when we partner up together and create a community around some gentlemen. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me, man.
All right, you guys heard him. If you are on here, I don't know if you're watching live or on the replay squad, go follow him right now. Great guy, great spirit, great energy. Go watch his video he just posted too. I was like, this man got me hyped in the morning. I was like,
Let's go!
All right. So watch it, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, Jeremy, being on here, taking your time to share your life and your experience with us. Keep being great, sir. Keep changing lives. Keep inspiring people. Everybody watching, God bless, and go be great. Have a good one.
Live on the IG with Coach D.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Peace. Love, peace, and hair grease.